You know, there were rumors that the Leafs were talking to both Max Pacioretty and James Van Riemsdyk. And man, there's been a lot of nostalgia going around the NHL lately. I don't know about you guys, but we have Nikolai Kulemin. Yes, that Kulemin signing with the Ottawa Senators, which is pretty friggin' hilarious. Honestly, I love to see that. We have Max Pacioretty, who is going to sign with the Leafs. I know people were hating on me in my comments, but he's going to sign with the Leafs. Like, every insider is saying this, so it's just a fact at this point. And then apparently the Leafs chose Pacioretty over JVR. So because they must have been in pretty serious talks with both of them. Now, it's funny though, like, both players are actually pretty similar players, although JVR is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is that JVR is very good, like, in close to the net. When he was in his prime, obviously he's not in his prime anymore, but when he was in his prime, he was just extremely good at, like, staying close to the net and, like, cleaning up the garbage. Now, I know you might say, well, that's an easy thing to do. Oh, that's nothing. Well, no, that's not actually true. It does take a special talent to be able to do that. And where Max Pacioretty is more of a outside shooting threat. Like, Max Pacioretty can fire it. I think I'm just analyzing the two players that we are talking about, Max Pacioretty and JVR. I think the Leafs chose the right thing here. Now, the reason for that is that the Leafs struggled with an outside shot on the power play. You know, yes, they have Matthews, but they need more of, like, a heavy shot other than Matthews on their power play, or maybe their second unit, which I think is going to be pretty useful for them. So I think they made the right decision. But it's funny, though, that these players are obviously extremely similar players. Let's be serious about this. They're almost like carbon copies of each other, like American players, very, very similar. But it was funny to see a bidding war. Now, I wonder if there is injuries with the Leafs, exactly what's going to happen with JVR. Because the Leafs are absolutely crowded in their left wing slot. Like, can you imagine if they could bring in both of them? Like, what if an injury happens? What if a Robertson gets injured or something like that? Or I would hate to see that, because I'm really looking forward to Robertson actually pushing for a spot with the Maple Leafs. But it is what it is. I mean, he played for the Boston Bruins recently. He has been a bit of a journeyman since the Leafs did go ahead and move on from him. He played for Philadelphia, Toronto, Boston. I mean, wonder where he's going to play next. But, you know, that era is done for the Leafs, and thank God, at least they have a relatively competitive team at this point. Like, they're not, like, scrounging for these, like, I mean, but it is weird, though. There is criticism of these moves, though. Like, we have seen this story before, and I understand where a lot of fans might look at it from the perspective of, like, we've seen this movie before. We've seen players that are older players and they're aging players, and it's like, why not just give the opportunity to a younger guy? But the Leafs do seem dead set on, you know, giving the opportunity to an older player. Now, I will say this, though, and this was on the 32 Thoughts podcast, that Elliot Friedman said the Leafs do want competition, which makes a lot of sense. So I do think, though, if Easton Cowan just breaks down the door and says, I'm here, I'm ready to play, and Nick Robertson absolutely kills it, I can't imagine that the Maple Leafs won't work this out. They'll probably trade somebody. I mean, God forbid, they have, you know, Ryan Reeves making what he's making. Like, I like his grit and whatever, but I mean, should he really be making that much? I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. So you can make a roster spot. You know, they have that's that centerman coming in. You have David Camp, who's getting paid a little bit more than I would like. They have Kalle Yankurak, who he is a really good two-way forward, but unfortunately he doesn't really score in the playoffs. Now, this has been an entire team thing where the team gets in the playoffs and unfortunately forgets how to score. I wonder if that's a coaching thing. I don't really know, but we're going to see. I am very interested to see, though, where JVR ends up. I do think that he is still deserving of an NHL opportunity. I do think that if you put a player like this in the right opportunity, he can be very successful. So anyways, I am going to leave the video there. If you've made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would appreciate that. As usual, tell me why I'm wrong and tell me why I'm right as well. No problem with criticism at all. And have a great day, guys. Thanks. Bye.